Ready, Zane?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. Hey, what's happening, everybody? We're here with Zane Maddox from Snellville Shoe Repair. What's up, Zane?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey
Nothing, man. You
Zane.
are live with the toe bugs, brother.
Oh
Woo.
yeah.
Oh, I need to put on my YouTube. Let's
Yeah.
put on the YouTube.
How's everybody in chat doing tonight? Let's see. We got Lucas, Death Like Reviews.
Hey, what's up, Lucas?
Hey Lucas. Deathlike, what's up? So you got power, Nick. You
I
got
did.
power. Okay.
Yeah, well, I was out of power for a little over 3 days.
Oh wow.
So Wednesday, or was it Wednesday or I guess Thursday, it came back on.
Okay.
And
Did you
then
have to
everything
do,
was good.
The boil
And
notice, the boil water notice thing?
no, we didn't have that. But then Saturday,
Okay.
like afternoon or evening, my power went out again for a few
Oh.
hours. And evidently it was just some kind of little blip or something because nobody else really had it. I don't know what was going on.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a pain. So
Huh.
Wednesday, I had to drive about an hour north of here to my buddy's place and chop down a tree for firewood. It was,
Wow.
it got down to 38 degrees in my house.
Wow.
It was
That's
insane.
crazy.
And firewood was harder to come by than ammo, man. It was and more expensive. It was unreal.
Yeah, we
Mark Dodson, what's
I
up,
bet.
brother?
We had a snowstorm back when I lived in Pennsylvania, we had a random snowstorm and it was like in August. So like summer wasn't even finished yet. And we just got a snowfall out of nowhere. And we had a bunch of leaves on all our trees. And so with all the leaves, it catches all that snow. And so it just started ripping limbs, whole trees coming down. And yeah, we had no power for a few days also. And until they got some, a few generators set up for the neighborhoods. But that was tough, man. Luckily we had I don't know if we had oil heat or if it was electric heat in that house. But I remember it was a pain having no power.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We very rarely ever get snow, but it's always normally a fiasco when we do because
Yeah.
it turns into ice and we don't have anything to control the snow, with like the salt trucks and all that. We don't have any of that stuff because we never get it. So
Yeah, that's how we are. We're built for 115 degrees, not 30.
yeah.
That's the
down
weather
to zero here. It was crazy.
How did weather fare you guys, Zane, down in Snellville?
It got kind of cold, but we never had any. We had like a couple flurries one day, but we never got snow or ice really.
Okay.
I think they had to like delay school one day, but it wasn't really anything.
Okay.
But it was almost like 70 today, so it's crazy.
Yeah,
I think we had
here it was 70. In 1 week, we went from 0 to 70.
Yeah.
We got like 1 or 2 days of rain here, and it wasn't even consecutive, I don't think.
Hey,
And
Lucas wants to know what kind of boots we're all wearing. Lucas, I don't think you're ready for this, man. I'm wearing my periods.
I got the latest in Birkenstocks.
I have a red pair. You have blue.
Yeah.
Mine are red.
I wore these for the first half of the day. I wore my Nick's Robert, my made to order Roberts. So these have the 8-inch shaft. The color is brown waxed flesh. So
yeah, I like the waxed. I want to get a pair of those.
Yeah, they look really cool when you scuff them up.
Yeah, once you start kind of wearing them in.
Yeah, we were just talking about before we went live. Before we went live, Zane and I were talking about how the break-in process on these, where it's right around, and it says it on their website, but I don't remember the number exactly. It's close to 100 hours though before they reach, broken in. And we went to my wife and I went to Yuma, which is like a 2.5-hour drive, and I was really getting tired of these not getting broken in yet. And I knew I was like right around getting on 100 hours. And I was like, I'm gonna give these one last day because it was a day trip, so I knew I'd be putting some miles on them. And I said, if they don't break in by the end of this trip, I'm selling them. And as much as I didn't want to, but sure enough, they broke in by the end of that day. We were driving back, and I was like, yes, finally. My ankles were finally not, complaining, because my thin ankles were
Yeah.
the ones that usually hurt the most. And it's,
Yeah.
right where that crease is where your ankle bends and,
Mhm.
and flexes and stuff.
Yeah, I get that every once in a while in new cowboy boot too, and it takes a
Yeah.
little bit to get it to, I guess,
Yeah.
fold around my ankle bone or whatever and stop digging in right there.
Yeah, the shaft is just so stiff.
Yeah.
Isn't it so weird how, so when you get to like heritage boots, it's a little bit more about like the durable, like the stiffer leathers that people kind of like, and everybody's got they like certain leathers for the character and everything. But I think pretty stiff leather, like in Red Wings, it's pretty stiff is like a common thing to see. But
Hmm.
when you get to cowboy boots, everyone's looking for the very, durable, very malleable, very a little more soft, a little more
Hmm.
stretch in the boot. And it's if you ask me, I mean, you're the master, but if you ask me, it's because of when you're looking for a pull-on boot, you want a boot that's, obviously there's no laces or straps on a cowboy
Yeah.
boot. So you want something that's going to conform to the whole top of your foot all the way up your ankle. And
Yeah,
so,
something that's got some give. That way you can just slip it on, and then
yeah, that's
so.
that's a big
Yep.
reason why I wear more cowboy boots more often than
Yeah.
lace up
Yep.
boots.
Yeah, that's always a big knock on Ariats is they're always, it's thick leather and they're stiff,
Yeah.
and
Well, yeah, but
it doesn't bother me because I like to basically wear them almost as work boots, and I just wear them into the ground and then, get another pair if I want one. I don't, the whole resoling thing, to me, it's just not as big of an issue because for that type of boot and for what they cost, I probably wouldn't want to sink the money into getting a nice resole on them anyway. A lot of people don't feel that way, but that's kind of
Yeah.
my look on it. Like I said, it's more of a work boot to me.
so Zane, how's things going? When was the last time you uploaded a YouTube video? Because that's the first time I actually came across your existence, and this is before we met on the cowboy boot groups. I actually watched.
Oh,
a few
really? Okay.
videos. What's that?
Okay, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I've actually watched. Watching.
It's been.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, sorry. Yeah, I didn't realize you had found us through there first. It's been a while. Looks here, I did a Luke Casey one 7 months ago, so that's something
Not
I
bad.
would like to try to do more of, but it's just so time consuming to
Absolutely.
film the whole process, edit it,
Yeah.
make a quality video that people are going to actually like enjoy. And
And you do a lot of the
And so
voiceover in your
it's-
videos.
yeah, I've tried that. This most recent one that I'm working on, I actually talked through it like while I was doing the work, because people said that would work better. That would you can hear the machines better and hear what's going on. People just like that more. So I tried that. So I'm working on that. And Dad was actually making a Chisos resole, and then I was making another Tecovas one. So I'm working on those two, but it's how it goes. There's a lot that goes
Yeah.
into stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, hours into it. 10 to
Speaking
15.
of the
Oh, yeah.
Chisos, I've seen your dad posting a lot of photos and stuff working on them. Have you worked on any Chisos?
Oh yeah, I mean, whenever there's something in the shop, normally we kind of work on them together.
Okay.
There's not usually a pair that we don't both work on. Like, sometimes it works out that way, but we normally work on them together. Some step,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
one of us either takes them apart and then we kind of work on them both to put them back. So we normally both touch them at one point.
Right.
Nice.
Another thing that I've wondered, and I mean, forgive my ignorance, but I've noticed on your Chisos ones, or even when you do an exotic, you'll put like a picture of the animal on the sole, or the Chisos, you've done the logo on there. How do you do that? Is that like laser etched or?
The Chisos are actually like the factory soles.
Oh, they are.
Will
Okay.
has actually sent us, like the factory parts, the heel and heel block and the soles, and
Oh, okay, cool.
those are typically like a package deal that he puts together for customers, that want to get them resold with factory stuff. So that's what that is. It's an actual stamp that he gets, stamped on their Chisos.
Okay.
But we have a laser engraver. It's, it actually burns the sole. That's like when we put the animals, or you can put whatever logo,
Sure.
you just need a vector file, and it'll just burn it in there, people's names or whatever. But that's not something we do on every pair. If
Right.
the customer wants it, we can, but it's
Nice.
just an extra step.
So I was going to ask you, I think I saw you did you ever add zippers to a pair of boots? Is that something you guys do?
Yeah, we do that pretty often. We actually got several pair to do right now. But yeah, we put a zipper in them.
All right.
Typically, like on the inside of the shaft.
Yeah. Now, do you guys usually narrow up the shaft when you do that, or is that just maybe
No,
just
we
sometimes?
just we don't. No, you just kind of cut it right there where that piping is,
Okay.
and then just kind of like take like a quarter, half an inch out of the shaft, and just put a zipper there. But no, I mean it can be taken in a little bit, but not much, or it kind of throws the whole shaft off. It
Yeah, like the
because
patterns matching.
because you're taking material out of the top, and you can't take any around the actual ankle, so it doesn't really. You can't take a whole lot.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. I'm sure a lot of guys would be interested in doing that though. If you could
Yeah,
take away a little bit down to help them get around those more narrow pant legs.
yeah. People have asked me about it, but it's like I was just explaining. It kind of doesn't really work like you would think, because
Wow.
it's going to want to kind of twist and pucker somewhere, because you're
Yeah.
taking material away from somewhere else while there's still some below. So
Makes sense. Okay. All right. Have you guys ever made your own boots?
no, that's something we haven't done. We've been wanting to. We just hard to find the time. Making a pair of boots from scratch is hours. You could
Yeah.
spend on some of these real detailed cowboy boots, you can spend 40, 60 hours, a whole week's worth of time working on a pair. So
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I definitely want to get into the business as far as boots, because I would like to design a pair, well, more than one pair, and
okay.
see how people, one of the adventures of like being a business owner and like kind of having your own designs is seeing how people react to your creativity, your creations.
Yeah.
I kind of want to try something. It'd be really nice if that could happen this year, maybe, but there's all business models and everything involved. Would you want to do a crowdfunding model, or would you want to, have all the raw materials and find a place that would be willing to make them?
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking if you guys ever made your own pairs. But yeah, I could see, that's a lot of time off of your
Yeah.
regular work schedule, that you'd have to, divvy up to get that going.
Pretty much.
A lot
Yeah.
of R&D too, right?
Yeah. And we don't really have everything we need to make a pair. We would like to get like another sewing machine that does like the top stitching and the real intricate, small stitching. We don't really have something for that. So there's a few other tools and materials we would need to actually start doing that. So
Yeah.
Okay.
but yeah, you could always do like a collab with some maybe a company that
Yeah.
makes boots, and like maybe design a pair that you can get made through them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've seen a few people doing that, like CJ Cook, and he's
Yeah,
doing some work with Planet Cowboy. He's got a few pairs
that's cool.
coming out of there. So I know it's definitely possible, but
Yeah.
right now it's just a what do you call it, a pipe dream or something?
Hey, Zane, Mark Dodson wants to know, he says he's seen pictures of custom boots with what looks like a thicker leather sole than on a standard boot. Is there an advantage to that?
um, yeah, I mean, a lot of custom boots or handmade boots are going to have the thick soles, and some of the, lesser expensive, just production boots are going to have a thin sole. It's going to probably be more comfortable and last longer.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to last longer. It's
Yeah.
more material to wear away, but I I don't know if there would be much advantage necessarily besides that.
Yeah.
It's probably better leather. Real popular leather that makers use is Baker's, Baker, Baker's leather. So that's a really good leather.
So, what's the difference? Piggybacking off that, a lot of people like to put JR soles on their boots when they're resold. And I know, that typically they're viewed as better than, say, a house sole.
Yeah.
What is it a different type of leather? What makes it better than just a standard leather sole you would use on a resole?
Yeah, it's better. It's gonna last a lot longer. Leather gets its like strength from how it's tanned, and the tanning process that JR goes through. It's made in Germany, and it's pit tanned. It's where they actually like lower the leather down into pits, and they put like oak, like bark and fruit and nuts and all kinds of different things. I mean, there's like a whole list of different woods they put in there, and the leather just like soaks all that up. It kind of like absorbs the nutrients from the materials, and it's a lot longer process than a typical piece of leather goes through. It's like 9 to 12 months depending on the thickness, while a house leather, a traditional piece of leather, just run of the mill leather is going to be like 2 or 3 months normally, like 90 days, 120 days. So it doesn't have as much time, it's just a lesser expensive process. They usually use like synthetic materials versus the natural like JR does. And so it's just better. It's, like I like to make the comparison of a car tire. You can spend your money on a $100 tire. You can spend 150 or 200 for a little bit better, longer lasting tire. So it's a similar thing there.
Gotcha. Lucas wants to know: is there a is there anything better than JR soles that's out there?
I wouldn't say better. No, there's probably comparable options, but it is probably the best. That Baker's I was talking about a second ago is very comparable. But you can only go so good. It's like you get too good, and then the leather is just so stiff and hard. But it's a great sole.
Yeah. Are there with the JR soles? Is there different tiers or grades of their product?
All leather soles come in different thicknesses. For different applications, dress shoes, cowboy boots, women's shoes. But no, there's something called JR Flex that's not supposed to be any lesser quality, lesser tier, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot more flexible. It's really soft and flexible, but it only comes in a few different options. So, but no, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Hey, Carol, glad you made it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Carol wants to know if the tanning process. I'm assuming she's talking about the tanning process on the JR soles. Does that help with weatherproofing them?
Yeah, that's one of the advantages of JR as well. They say they're waterproof. I don't like to tell people waterproof. I say water resistant.
Yeah.
Which they are. But yeah, it definitely helps. I still wouldn't go out and wear them on a snowy, icy, sopping wet day or anything like that. But they definitely can be worn, in wet conditions, and it'll last a lot longer than traditional regular leather.
Yeah.
So,
Some of those things too, where you're still have a strong possibility of getting water in the stitching, coming up through where the boot is stitched together and everything, regardless of what the sole's made out of.
So you wouldn't recommend wearing JR soles through salty, watery, melting, slushy conditions?
No, I mean, you still can, but at the end of the day, it's something you don't really want to wear.
Yeah.
Typically
I was just joking because of that post that was posted earlier today.
Oh yeah.
The Tacova.
Which one? I can't remember.
It was a pair of Tacovas. I think it was on the Tacovas group. And
they kind of got ate up by the salt.
Yeah.
Pitted looking.
I think it was Elton or I think it was. I can't remember. But yeah, he wore them like once, and they had like all this. I don't know. It looked like it literally ate it up.
Yeah, it looked to me like, because the way it looked was, anytime I end up stepping in water and then having to trek through my backyard, which is all gravel, it looks the same. So when the water softens it up, and then the stones, in that case, the salt grains.
Yeah, the gravel kind of chews it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Typically, if you got JR on a pair of your shoes or boots, you probably shouldn't be wearing them in the snow anyway.
Right.
It's probably a pretty nice footwear.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, Roberto Romero says that he sent out some boots to you yesterday, Zane.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Sweet. Yeah, I've got to send you my Chizos. I'm so attached to them. Like during the week, it's either one or the other,
Yeah.
I definitely got to send them out to you though, before they get too worn down. Cause I want to
I know you got the number 5. What others do you have?
Yeah. Well, I did have the number 2s, but a friend actually bought those off of me. And cool. I only let them go because I think they were like a half size too big. But I had the number 2s. I had the number 1s in black, and I also had the number 5s.
Yeah, this is the post. That one?
Yeah, that one.
There it is. Yeah, they really did a number on.
I know. I think that was the first time he wore them, and I was like, "Oh," or I said, "Oof."
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like little holes and stuff in the sole. I was pretty surprised.
So Zane, with leather soles, I know there's certain boot makers that do like a double midsole. Obviously it adds to the rigidity and a little more longer break-in process. Would you ever, or have you ever added a 2-piece where it's just an extra leather piece, but only under like the ball part of the foot?
Yeah, you can do like, some people call that a lot of cowboy boots will have like a half midsole. They'll have like a half sole underneath a full sole. And then you also see that the other way around, and like a lot of guys are doing the work boots, like Nicks and other boots, different brands of boots. They'll do a full sole and then the half sole on top of it. And a lot of boots come that way too. But yeah, it can go either way. Advantage wise, it might be a little more comfortable, but it probably will be stiffer and longer break in. But I don't know if there's much advantage to it. I couldn't really speak on that personally because I've never tried it, but I think it's more of like a aesthetics thing. It just looks cool with that big thick sole.
Kind of adds some extra arch to the shape.
Yeah. Your buddy Jake, the guy you recommended to me.
Yeah.
He's the ones I'm doing for him have like a double sole. It's got a thick leather midsole,
Okay.
and then I put another whole sole on top of it. So
Okay.
it's not exactly what you're saying. It's two whole soles basically on top of one
Gotcha.
another.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm almost done with those. He's been very patient with me, and if he sees this, I appreciate it. He was like, "Oh, no problem." But
he's actually, so he's on Instagram as Almost Vintage Style.
yeah,
Yeah, his name is Jake. I don't know him too well, but we comment all the time back and forth. He's
yeah,
he's also got a YouTube channel, and I think
oh yeah.
I think it's Almost Vintage Style.
Let me check it out.
Yeah, he's got a few reviews on boots, denim, and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's cool. He's got all kinds of cool boots and jackets and hats, and yeah. He's a sophisticated Japanese biker, is what his bio says.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Yep.
he's very into like anime and Japanese like stylings. Well, a lot of Japanese is Americana based now, you know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. He's definitely got style.
Yeah, I almost forgot about him, but yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're almost done with his pair. Yeah, Nick, it's actually, so my buddy Jake, he was actually on his story. He had a pair of Red Wing Pecos. Was it the 866?
Yeah, that's what they are.
Okay, so those are the
I don't know
lighter
the
color.
number.
What's that?
I've got the picture of them. Like,
It's like the
I don't
lighter
know
russet color,
the
like a
actual
yellow.
number, but
And they came with a wedge sole. And
those,
yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think those are the 866.
yeah, yeah.
And
They had the
it
light
came with a
color
wedge, yeah.
sole, the traditional sole.
Yeah, and he makes it very well known to people that
He wanted to
is not
actually.
he doesn't like wedge soles. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So he was like, "Yeah, I want to, do a whole sole, a midsole with a whole sole, stacked heel, and a Cuban heel, kind of like a walking heel." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." So
Yeah,
just about done with them.
nice.
They're turning out pretty cool.
It'll be different for sure, and I think it'll be cool to see your name pop up in the more heritage style, part
Yeah,
of the big conglomerate boot community. Because
I know. It's so funny to see like little portions of people all over the different, boot groups. Like I'll see some guys that are in like the cowboy boot section one day, and then they'll jump over here on the heritage, and then I'll see them somewhere else the next day, and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, I think that again that goes to back when Nick and I were first, starting to talk to one another. We kind of came up with the idea that, well, he brought it up, Nick, you brought it up, that maybe we would be good together as, him being more into cowboy boots and me a little bit more being into the heritage boots, but we both know a little bit about both sides. And I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to see more people delving into both ends of that spectrum, like Lucas here, he's very well into both as well.
Yeah, I always see him, and throughout the community, which I love it.
Yeah, I used to be into Red Wings a lot, and I think I want to get at least another pair of some sort of heritage boot, just from, since doing this show and seeing Angel and Boot Hunter talk about them, and Lucas and everybody. It's kind of got me itching to get a pair.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah,
great boots.
Yeah, different monster, but definitely. I mean, and Nick, but they're definitely just something that something extra that you can say, well, I feel like doing this today.
Yeah.
I've got a pair of Iron Rangers that I might send to you. Because they come with the nitrile sole, the nitrile cork sole.
Yeah.
Pretty comfortable, but they're lacking arch support. So is that something you could do? And would that be as simple as raising the heel height, or would you actually do something
that would help? You're probably more used to a higher heel, aren't you?
A little bit, yeah. Now that I've been, because I used to wear Iron Rangers and mock toe Red Wings every day of the week until I had my first pair of Red Wing Engineers, which is a higher heel.
Mhm.
And that was like my first taste of like increased arch support. I was like, okay, I see what's happening here.
Yeah.
And ever since
It would
then,
probably yeah, it would probably make a difference. You could there's all kinds of options, you know. You could put a little bit higher heel. You can't put like a cowboy heel on it because then it'll just throw
right.
it way off. But
Mhm.
you could put like a little kind of stacked heel, and you know, there's sky's the limit. There's so many different sole options, and you know, you could put a thick, heavy duty like Vibram 100. A lot of guys have been doing that through.
Yeah, I have seen that.
So.
So when you talk about, and people ask the question a lot about, putting either an increased height heel or lowering the heel on a boot, are you limited somewhat by the shape of the shank? Like how big of an arch is in the shank?
Yeah, I mean, typically you have to change that if it's a shank that's not going to like conform well. Like, certain boots have a really heavy duty, like steel shank that is
Mhm.
almost made for that particular arch. So
Right.
a lot of times you replace that to accommodate to a higher heel or try to bend it to that way. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Carol wants to know how would you say that JR soles compare quality wise to like a house sole that you would put on a pair of boots?
I mean, they're much better. I mean, they're gonna last the longest and
Yeah.
all that. So, but it's hard to put a
It's hard to say, are they
pin.
4 times
Yeah,
better
it's
or
hard to pin.
twice as good?
Yeah,
I
it's
can see
hard.
where that'd
It's
be
hard to
tough.
pinpoint. Yeah,
Yeah. Plus,
I can't
everybody
put like a
wears them
rating
out
on it
differently.
necessarily. Yeah, that's what I tell people. I'm like, you're gonna wear it different than the next guy, and you might get 10 times longer wear out of it, or you
Mhm.
might get twice as long, or it might be comparable. Some people just are harder than others, so it's hard to say. But they don't really do last longer, yes, but
Yeah.
I can't say X amount longer.
Right. Hey, Death Like Reviews has been posting a few times on Facebook. He got a pair of boots that are a little too tight, and he wanted to know if you had any recommendations to stretch them just a little bit at home, where he doesn't have to take
Yeah,
them to a collar.
you could buy what's called like a stretch spray or like a boot stretch. Bickmore makes their own version of it. All kinds of companies make it, but it's kind of like a spray that helps like almost relieve the leather. It kind of like relaxes the membrane of the leather. You actually spray it on and walk in them. It's not going to like hurt the boot at all, but you spray it on like the vamp and you can actually walk, and it kind of helps that break-in process and helps relaxes the leather a little bit. So,
Yeah, I use that
yep.
same exact stuff you're talking about. Bickmore's boot stretch came in a little spray bottle,
Yep, that's it.
and
Yeah.
it would have been nice to have a bigger spray bottle because that one little spray bottle
Yeah.
was for one pair of boots and it was it.
Yeah, it's like 2 or I think maybe 4 ounces or something.
Right. So I had a pair of Red Wing Engineers, and right on the instep, it was really tight where where
Yeah.
the strap is for the engine, the lower strap.
Mhm.
And so what I did was I sprayed the inside and the outside,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I actually stuffed a baseball in each one
Oh,
over,
wow.
and it actually worked pretty good because the next day
Yeah.
it was a pain pulling it in and out over that instep. But yeah, it definitely helps. So yeah, I know
Yeah.
what you're saying with that boot stretch because
Whenever we actually like mechanically stretch a boot, because we have all different types of actual devices that we put inside the boot and widen them, we can stretch the width, like the ball of your foot, the length, the instep, and the calf, like the actual shaft. And we use the spray whenever we actually stretch them, so it works really well.
nice.
But anything else, I wouldn't really recommend. Like you can buy stretchers off of Amazon, eBay, wherever, but I don't really always recommend doing that at home because there is the possibility that you could mess them up. You know, if you go too crazy, they could pop or bust somewhere. So
Right.
it's you're
Plus the
probably
ones,
better off to take them somewhere.
yeah, the ones that I've seen for sale cost more than it would cost you just to go to a cobbler and have them stretch them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's what I always tell people. You know, if you have more than one pair, maybe, you know, kind of be careful if you want to try that. But if you just got like one uncomfortable pair, just take them to like a, you know, a well-known place around you or something.
so Demon by Design stopped
Yep.
in, and he's nicknamed you the Great Zane.
Yeah, somebody was saying the other day, they've been Maddoxed. You know, whenever we fix something, they're gonna call it that. They were
Oh,
Maddoxed.
really? That's funny.
Yeah, everybody's always coming up with some little phrase.
That's good, man. That's good. That's the right kind of attention, you know? It's the
Yeah.
right kind of attention.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, back to the Jake, the one who sent you those Red Wings, those Pecos.
Yeah.
He was telling me that people were giving him all kinds of like crazy quotes and also wait times. So
Yeah.
are you guys running a little bit ahead of schedule, behind schedule, or right on schedule? What is that schedule for like a regular resole? What is it?
We're pretty backed up right now. First of the year was just crazy. Like, I don't know. I guess Christmas and New Year's kind of just really pushed us behind because we took a few days off, and then everybody's in like this mad rush to get their shoes back during Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's time. And so we were getting boots in the entire time, you know, mailed in, and it just was crazy. So we're kind of starting to get like back to normal now, you know, 2 months later, but we're still behind. You know, there's still a bunch of stuff in there we're trying to get done, you know, mailed in stuff, which people are pretty patient with us and we appreciate it. But, you know, sometimes just more than you can do.
Yeah. Yeah. I got behind during the holidays.
Yeah.
Not really behind, just more than I knew I could handle. And I was getting nervous. I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like
Yeah.
restocking material like once a week. And right now I sit at a comfortable, like I've got 10 orders on average, about 10 orders that I can work down, you know, to keep things, but that's my scale. That's a one-man shop and just making belts and hat bands, you know?
No,
So,
I completely understand. But yeah, we're crazy. It's, it's a good thing.
Yeah. So you guys have been in business for how long?
46 years the shop has been open.
Wow.
But
And-
my dad has owned it about like 40.
Okay.
And I've been working like I think about 9. So
Okay. How old are you, Zane, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm almost 24 this year in a couple months.
Oh, so you started pretty young. Okay.
Yeah, like 14, 15. I was coming in there, you know, hanging out, learning stuff.
Was it by choice, curiosity, or?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have to go necessarily.
Yeah.
I guess it was, you know, get a little pocket change. Didn't have a car to go nowhere else. So
Gotcha. That makes sense.
yeah, curiosity. I mean, it's cool to do something that your dad and family did. So
definitely. Yeah. And seeing all the kinds of footwear that come through those doors, right?
yeah, it's more than ever now. You know, we see everything. You know, anywhere from handmade, custom made cowboy boots to Christian Louboutins, Gucci's, Pradas to Iron Rangers, Knicks, Whites, you know, everything in between.
That's so wild.
Yeah, I've got a pair of whites in the shop right now, you know, like the smoke jumpers, the real tall ones that like come up to your knees.
Yeah, yeah.
I gotta rebuild this. It's gonna be a job for sure.
Wow. Yeah, I know that those like the wildland firefighter style boots can be completely rebuilt from the vamps down.
Oh yeah.
So, and they're built to last. So,
Oh yeah.
so the ones you got sent, were they in pretty rough shape?
It was actually a local guy. He had just called up one day, and he didn't necessarily even know about us. He just had found us. It was like he lives like 45 minutes away, I guess. He was like telling me, "I got this pair of whites. Can you resole them?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." And man, that's a boot. I'm telling you, that's like that's a real boot right there.
What's it, about 7-8 pounds per boot?
I don't know,
because I know these are pretty heavy. These things are
Yeah.
pretty. This is probably like 3 pounds right here. I think it's about 7 pounds per pair.
Yeah. It's like, they lace all the way up your leg, and it's got the Vibram 100 on it. So
Wow.
it's a heavy duty boot for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, business is good though.
That's
Just
awesome.
Running behind all the time. Can't control how many people come in the door or call or
no shortage of challenges, especially this day and age with small business. No shortage of challenges, little challenges, just another day at the office, really.
Yeah.
So
how are things with you? How's your you said you try to do 10 orders. What did you mean by that? 10
well,
orders?
no, I try to, like, when I go to my website, the admin page, I can look at all the orders that are in, and on average I can get 2 to 3 belts done per day,
Okay.
Just because of the new process that I'm doing with the wax slicked edge.
I was going to ask you about that, so
go ahead.
You can go ahead, but I was going to talk about that too.
Yeah, I was just going to say it added quite a bit of time, especially like the best-selling belt, which is the rough out.
Yeah.
That edge on those, for whatever reason, because it's such like a thirsty leather.
Yeah, you got to really coat it and over and over and over.
Yeah, it takes so much longer to get the same consistent edge. Otherwise, you'll have like light spots, dark spots, light spots, dark spots. So I like to have a nice uniform edge, and it's a contrast to that light color that you see on the Exolution rough out.
So the slick edge is something new you've been doing?
Yeah, started this year. I started with all the belts that started this year. Started getting the wax slicked edge. I don't put any burnish. I don't paint the edges. Just wax, just beeswax.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're using that slicker on the rotary tool, right?
Yes. I honestly got a lower quality one, bit for the rotary tool, and it was not of like a good quality build. Like they use like tape to keep the posts inside of with the mic all everywhere. But it was a tiny redded like 1/8 inch rod that it was stupid. So I took it out. I took it apart. I epoxied the post into it and made sure it was centered. So it works way better now, but I left a bad review and everything on there. So it was so bad, the first review was not accepted by Amazon.
That's really bad.
Yeah, I had to reword it and be a little more kind.
Yeah, I have been trying to do that. I made a bag the other day and I burnished the handles real well. But I used that Tokenol or however, it's like that Japanese finish stuff.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people using that.
Have you used that before?
I have not. I've been interested in it. I haven't really, just because this was my first, kind of method of trying to do it, and it did it well. I'm happy with the results, so
I'll have to follow up with you about that and see how and what you're using.
Yeah. It's just a natural beeswax, which is it's pretty inexpensive and easy to get.
Do you just use like canvas and rub the edge, or you use that burnishing tool?
Yeah, just the burnishing tool. They come in blocks. You kind of rub it, make sure you get a nice coat. Not too thick though, because you want to work it down so it's not all gunky. And so I've been, the more experience I have doing it, I'm kind of understanding like the correct
Yeah.
thickness of layer to put on.
Yeah.
And then, I just lay the strap and kind of, do it about 6 or 8 inches
At
at
a
a
time.
time. Yeah.
Yep.
Hard at all. Not hard at all. I could, definitely talk to you again later on about it.
Okay. I mean, I get the basic idea. I just didn't know of your exact materials and process, but yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, and there's guys that have YouTube videos. So many guys do it their own different ways.
Yeah.
I've seen guys do like 4 different steps, and I'm like, really? You need all that stuff, but
A lot of work.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, let me try this first, and this seems to be working really good. So,
Do you plan on adding anything else to your lineup? Like, is there anything you want to? Anything else you want to do? Like,
I want to get into suspenders. I've been
Okay.
saying that since day one. I want to get into suspenders because I want to be able to provide something for everybody. Everybody that either
That would be really cool.
people that
Some
don't
leather
wear
suspenders.
Yeah, leather suspenders. Wallets are they're easy to make. They're not hard to make. With practice, you get to learn your cuts and your patterns, and you get to make. The cool thing I like is that you get to make your own design. So there's a lot of small wallet makers, and type in on Instagram, type in leather wallet or something, and you'll see all the different makers. So
if you go on Etsy, there's a billion of them.
Yeah. But there's a lot of interesting things you could do, stuff like that, So, which leads to my next question, because I've seen like the leather wallets, you'll have like 3, 4, sometimes 5 layers of leather, and some guys will do different colored leathers, and so you'll have like a green, red, blue leathers, and they look really cool. I really like that look.
I've seen them.
Yeah. So have you ever seen or tried or done anything like that with leather sole edges?
Ooh, yeah. We've actually got a pair of Anderson beans that is actually for one of the managers of a Cavender's store in Texas somewhere. I can't remember the exact one, but it's got orange side piping, the shaft, and the top piping is like orange. And so we put an orange midsole. So it all kind of ties in.
Okay.
So it's got the rubber orange midsole and then a leather like natural sole with the heel and natural. And so it looks really good. It's cool. But yeah, we do different, colors and stuff sometimes. That's our most recent one. We actually just finished them a couple of days ago, but we haven't posted them or anything, but they turned out really cool.
Was that like an edge paint you did or an edge dye that you put on, or?
No, it's actual, like the rubber comes in orange. Like,
oh, rubber. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Okay, I got you.
Sorry. Yeah, the actual, like we were talking about before, you can do like double, triple soles, but this would be what I guess people would consider a double sole. It's the midsole is an actual orange rubber sole.
Gotcha.
And then it's got a leather outsole.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Okay.
Interesting. So kind of like a Chizo's, the heel block insert.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Same exact thing.
Jeremiah says you're gonna have to post pictures of that pair, and I agree.
Yeah, I will. How about this? I'll post them in his group tomorrow. That'll be cool.
Pics or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Hey, Carol wanted to ask about soul savers. She said, obviously, when you put them on a new pair, it's best, but can they be put on after a few months of wear? And what kind do you recommend?
Yeah, they're great. I actually have them on several of my pair. Like, I'll call them my daily drivers, ones that I'm going to wear a lot. I'll normally put them on because they give you like so much more grip and kind of that reassurance when you take that step. You're not going to slip, especially, if you're walking on any kind of tile or anything like that. I mean, there's still a possibility for them to slip in anything, but it's way better than leather. You can wear them in the rain, which, like we were talking about earlier, I don't necessarily recommend wearing them in the rain. But if you step in a puddle or if it's kind of damp outside, the leather is not going to get tore up. because you
Mhm.
got that protective sole on top of it. And people always ask if there's like disadvantages to them, and I'm like, no disadvantages that I can think of. You can't really see it on the edge at all. It's super thin. It's just like
Yeah.
1 or 2 millimeters is all it is.
Mhm.
So,
I
but
saw.
I was gonna. She asked about time frame. You normally want to do it on a pretty unworn new sole. They can be kind of wore, but it gets to a point where the sole is almost too wore. Like if the toes kind of wore down, or if the sole's almost like wore out, then you can't really put one on there. So
Yeah. I would imagine if they're getting close to wearing a hole underneath the
yeah,
part of the ball, you probably wouldn't want to adhere to that.
no, you don't really want to. Which I don't do it, but I've seen shoes or boots that have come in where you take the sole off and the sole's wore out, and I'm like, what? Like it'll actually have a hole in the sole, and they put a protective sole, and I'm like, no, you're not supposed to do that. So
So if you got a pair of boots like that, when somebody asked for a pair of Soul Savers, uh, and is it usually sight unseen? Like they just you see what they're working with as it shows up to your shop,
no,
and
typically I try to get people to send me some pictures, or we can kind of go over the repair prior to them actually sending them.
okay,
Well, you can tell a good amount of things from pictures, or at least we can, because we know what we're looking for, and you can see like if the stitching is real wore, if the toe is real wore, and
so but stitching isn't necessarily a done deal, right? Even if the stitching is worn through, you can still put in a Soul Saver on as long as the
yeah,
not completely
yeah.
okay. Because I've noticed on my Chizos, yeah, the stitching on the edges is coming worn through, but I would imagine you could still probably adhere to that.
Yeah, you can still do it, but it's probably not always best if this. I mean, the sole can have a good amount of wear and
Yeah.
still accept a soul saver or soul protector. But if the sole's almost wore out, I don't really recommend doing that. But
Right. Because if all the stitches are gone, then you could end up losing the whole sole, right?
yeah,
While
that's
the
what I was talking
adhesives,
about with the pictures. If you see the bottom of a boot and you can see like every single stitch is like worn off, like there's no bridge between the stitch. There's actually just the actual stitch. So
dots.
that's a boot that has a lot of wear on it. So it might not be able to be added to something like that. But
Okay. And so what that does for you is saying, well, I can't do it unless I'll have to re-sole it. I'll have to do a whole
yeah,
leather outsole first. Okay.
yeah. Which you can normally tell just if the heel's real wore out too. It's like, yeah, they probably just need to be resold at this point. So
Okay. So there are, let's see, endless amounts of boots, cowboy boots that come with a leather sole, but they come with a rubber heel cap.
yeah,
So
that's pretty standard. Yeah.
are there different kinds of heel caps that you carry, like different hardnesses, different, softer, more?
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that, or is it just because some brands are softer than others? Or
Um, yeah, there's all types. There's tons of options, like stuff that we can buy. I don't know, there's probably 20 different heel options or 20 different sole options.
yeah,
We try to carry something that, is good for different price points. Somebody wants to spend X amount of dollars. We're like, okay, well, we'll put this, pretty average, good all around material. Somebody wants to, something that's better, we can match it with the JR and Vibram. That's pretty much like the best option. So yeah, price is a factor, and then actual wear. It's going to be a better rubber. Like back to the car tire thing,
yeah.
it's going to be better, but it costs more, lasts longer. But that's how it works.
Okay.
Going back to those Anderson beans, Jeremiah Craig is in the chat, and he was talking about he thinks that the orange piping on that boot sounds really cool, and so he asked, "Is it hard to get leather in different colors like that, like orange, for say?"
Like the actual piping.
Yeah, I think he was talking about the piping. Jeremiah, if that's not correct, let me know.
Yeah, I mean, there's like supplies for boots. You know, you can buy like all kinds of parts for boots. You can buy different color side piping, and a lot of people just make it themselves. You know, they'll have orange leather and they'll fold the leather over a string and make their own piping. But yeah, I mean, you could get all kinds of different colors of side piping and make it yourself. But doing something like that is pretty intensive. You totally have to remake a boot if you were going to do something like that, because
Yeah.
that's one of the first. Not the first, but that's one of the first initial steps of constructing a boot. Is you got the two like front and back shaft, and then they're stitched on that side, and the vamp is stitched on, and then the boot's actually lasted. So
Yeah. Right.
it's not normally something you'd want to do as far as changing it. You pretty much have to totally reconstruct the boot at that point.
Yeah.
Well, let's cover the other base then. What if he was talking about the sole leather?
Yeah.
Is the sole leather colored easy or tough to come by?
The midsoles, like I was talking about, the rubber midsoles, there's several different colors now. I think there's like red, blue, green. I want to say there's like yellow, purple. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to check, see what all's available now.
That's interesting.
But the leather doesn't necessarily come in different colors. It can be kind of stained and dyed and colored certain ways, just like, you know, if you were making whatever and you wanted to change the color of it. So yeah.
So I got the pair of Iron Rangers that I was talking about possibly sending to you. They were the Hawthorne, so it's like an undyed, just a natural light colored tan rough out leather. And I did a YouTube video where I kind of spoke about it, and I dyed it green. I dyed the boots green with, RIT dye.
Yeah.
I used RIT dye. I think I used two different greens. I don't remember the name of the color. One of them was green apple. Don't remember the other color, but actually came out really good. They're like an olive drab green now. And
Cool.
the only problem with it was it dyed all the stitching. And so I like a nice contrast to the stitch, slightly contrast, either black or white to a color. And then so it's a 270 welt. And so that welt right there, it completely disappeared because it was the same color now. So that's another reason why I want to take those, get them resold, because I would like to have a nice fresh
white stitch. Yeah. Yep, that can be done. That would be pretty
Demon
cool.
by Design wants to know what your favorite boot in your collection is, Zane, and also what is your holy grail boot that you'd like to have?
My favorite of my collection, I'm looking at it right here. I don't know. That's a hard one. Some of mine are actually at the shop right now because I posted them. It was yesterday. I shined them up, polished them, and conditioned them real quick. My favorite boot. I don't know. I don't know if I can. I'm not one to have favorites.
To choose your favorite kid, right?
I'm not one to have favorites of anything really. Some people ask me, "Well, what's your favorite food?" And I'm like, I can't say.
All of it.
I have too many favorites.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, my collection mainly consists of Tecovas.
Right.
I don't know.
What about a favorite right now, like in the moment? Because I tend to go through favorites. Like these Knicks, I've been wearing them more, especially after they broke in. I'm wearing these more often than I usually wore them.
Yeah. I still don't know. I alternate too much. I'll be like, oh, I haven't wore this pair in a while, and then I'm like, oh, these are so cool. And then I'll wear something different. I wear something different the next day.
Yep.
But
That's kind of how I am too.
I mean, like my top 3 is probably gonna be like the Crocs, like Tecovas makes the no, I'm sorry, the alligator, like the big alligator. The Towns is the one I have.
Yeah.
Those like kind of medium brown color. That's one of my favorites. Those are super cool. Their new birthday boot's really cool with a Nile crocodile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that one all the way up the shaft. Those are really cool looking.
Well, no, I don't have those. I have the ones that they're like anniversary boot. They call it the
Oh, I
birthday
got you.
boot.
Yeah, they were like green on the inside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So that's probably one of my favorites. And then I really like the I like the pecan ostrich. That's like kind of one of their really popular ones. So I don't know. I like them all. I can't.
You have
All
a
right,
favorite
what's your
toe shape?
dream boot? If you could buy one
Yeah.
boot right now, what would you get?
Yeah, the Grail boot question. That's
There's a reason I have all these boots because I like I like them all. I'd really like to eventually try to find either it would probably be a sea turtle, but the problem I have is I have such a big foot, and sea turtles only come so big.
Yeah.
okay.
they didn't really make probably just a handful of sea turtle or anteater boots in my size,
Yeah.
if any, really. I think I've seen like one pair in the past couple of years of pair of sea turtles because I'm a 14, so it's hard to find boots in my size.
Yeah.
I heard there's this brand called Bickmore. They make this stuff called boot stretch.
I don't think it works that good.
I don't think you can stretch an 8 into a 14 though.
Just put 2 baseballs in it.
Yeah. Put a softball in there.
Cantaloupe.
I'll put a baseball bat on there and try to ram it out.
There you go.
But yeah, another thing is I know if I do find a pair, they're gonna be top dollar. Like,
yeah,
they're gonna. So I don't know if I'll ever really cough up that kind of money.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Maybe one day.
So you got quite a collection. How many pairs do you have in your personal collection at this moment?
I don't even know. The most recent count, it changes. I think Tecovas, I have 16 or 17 pair.
Wow.
And then overall, I've got a couple Luke Casey's and I've got like some Tony Lama vintage boots. I got a couple other pair, but I think I've got like 20 or 24 or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, Tecovas is the majority because, like I said, I have a hard time finding my size.
Yeah.
That's one thing I really liked about Tecovas when I first found them, like a few years ago. I was like, wow, this is a boot company that actually makes my size. And it's like readily available. I don't have to special order them. So that's kind of where.
Was it size 15 that they discontinued?
I don't know if they discontinued. Paul, the owner of Tecovas, he kind of chimed in on that. He said they were getting away from that size, but they weren't necessarily discontinuing it. They'll still have some of those sizes available, just not in like limited releases.
Oh, gotcha.
Like kind of their basic boots that they're going to always stock. They're going to still keep like, I think like 7s. They're not making 7 and like 7.5 or something. They're not making limited releases of in 15s, but they were still going to try to keep those in like the regular lineup. That's what he had commented one day.
Oh, okay. All right. Keeping it cost effective makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So how about this? How about when you're not working or thinking? I don't know how possible it is for you not think about, but when
Well,
you're
you said
not like
not-
working on,
You said not working, so that's not going to probably ever.
okay,
happen.
all right. Well, what do you have any other hobbies that are not boot related?
You know, I know you've seen. I've been trying to kind of pick up some leather working. That's always kind of tied into the business almost because
Yeah.
you kind of have to work with leather to fix stuff sometimes. But I've actually been, making like the totes and the little dock kits and stuff like that. So
Okay.
that's almost like a kind of like a hobby side thing right now.
So those DOP kits, what comes in those DOP kits?
Well, I mean, you can buy the bag itself, just the bag, the leather, or you could. I've been kind of putting a kit together with, the care items for boots and shoes.
Okay.
What I've typically been putting together is like Bic 4, an 8 ounce of Bic 4, a neutral Saphir Pate Deluxe polish, a little polish application brush, and like a wool buffing mitt or horsehair buffing brush, and that's kind of like a basic, all around good kit you can use on anything.
Nice,
But
nice.
but you can get whatever you can get.
Yeah, yeah. I just
Polish.
figured it'd be
You
good
can
for
get
you to share since you're our guest, kind of tell us
yeah, yeah.
what is so you're making those DOP kits and what else are you making?
I've been making some women's totes, like that really popular style. It's just kind of like a never full, like a tote bag. It's just
Yeah.
it doesn't have any like liner or it's got a. I've been putting pockets on the inside that are like attached by the brads that hold the handles on.
Okay.
But yeah, they're pretty cool. I've sold a few of those.
They look pretty nice size. I bet they smell pretty good.
Oh yeah. But yeah, my most recent one is probably the best. Everyone gets a little bit more detailed and a little better. So
Yeah. That's same thing with me. Same thing with leatherwork altogether.
oh yeah.
So where would they go to like find? Do you just hit you up on Facebook or?
Yeah, or just go on our Snellville Shoe Repair page on Facebook. I post pictures of them there, and I sometimes post some stuff on my story, like personal story, and
Okay.
yeah.
Put a link to the shop's Facebook page in the description. So if anybody's looking for it, you can find it there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm actually trying to like make like a separate thing, kind of like I want to call it like Maddox made leather goods. So that'll be like its own thing. It won't it'll be connected to the shop, but it'll be less confusing. I'm sure somebody can just go directly to the Maddox made versus Snellville Shoe Repair and all that.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Keep it categorized and easier to kind of sort through the different goods, the different leather goods that you make.
Yeah, we just have got a new sewing machine, so I'm trying to kind of figure that all out and got some new toys to play with that'll help things be better, and then of course find the time. What I normally do is just work after hours on that stuff. So
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, those DOP kits look really cool.
Yeah. Yes. And I probably need one. I
know.
I'm
Yeah.
like
One of
I'm
everything.
so bad with my boots. I don't maintain them the way half the guys in like all the cowboy boot groups are taking care of theirs.
I know. I'm really bad about taking care of my stuff too.
It can be pretty fun, honestly. I mean, sit down one night, start cleaning your boots, watch a little TV.
A little workout too. You get a little workout going too. You get to buffing, you're like got a little sweat.
It's one of those things where I always sit around and dread doing it, so I put it off. But then when I actually sit down and do it, it's really kind of, I don't know, can zone out and not think about anything. You're just rubbing down some boots,
Yeah.
I
got a big old like a Red Wing boot box that has like all of my boot care in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I'm bad about it, so I haven't done it in a few months, but I used to do it like every month, like once a month. I would just sit down in front of the TV next to my wife, on the floor, cover my lap with like an old dirty shirt and kind of just go to town.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm actually pretty good about conditioning my reptiles just because I know they're prone to crack, but everything else, I'm just lazy about it. And you can forget about polishing anything. I never get around to that.
Yeah.
I've done it on my Magic Black Cheezos #1s. Those are the only ones I've ever actually attempted to do it because it actually looks pretty good that way.
Yeah.
All of my other boots, I'm kind of like, they look good enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man.
So toe bug or no toe bug? Not like me and Nick toe bugs.
You
But I
asking
mean,
me that?
on a boot. You like the look of a toe bug or no toe bug? Or does it?
I do, but I like like the feel of a roper or a hybrid heel, and then you typically can't get a toe bug on a roper. I mean, you probably can, but like Tecovas doesn't offer that. But I like the lower heel better, but it doesn't normally have a toe bug. So
right, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
I definitely like the look. I do like the stitching on the toe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, some people are all for it. Some people are not for it. So
Yeah.
I think it changes up though. Like Nick and I, we were kind of talking about how like obviously not on exotics and a rough out. I prefer if it's going to be on a rough out, the stitching has to be a nice contrast color.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so it really sticks out. Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, it kind of just goes away.
Yeah, it gets hidden in the rough out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
How do you feel about Python like printed style boots? How do you feel about those? Like I've never seen them up close in person, but I'm kind of okay with the idea that it's usually cowhide, so it's going to be a little more durable than a real snake skin.
I don't like prints. No, I don't. I mean, I guess it's okay for if you're. I don't know. I just personally do not like prints. I mean, if you can't afford the real skin, then I understand. But at that point, you're just doing it for the looks. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like it myself because it just, in my opinion, it looks cheap because anybody that knows it's not going to be an actual skin, it's but there's very few people that are actually doing prints still. I think I saw like Dan Post was doing some, but I don't think there's many prints like in today's production. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So, well, two reasons I ask is I was supposed to be doing a review on a pair of boots that a brand was supposed to send to me, and there were Python like style print boots. And what my YouTube review is going to be about was, how durable they are and, up to the task, like, are they up to the task in the backyard where, as opposed to like a real Python skin where if I was end up kicking something, I'd end up losing a few scales.
Yeah. I mean,
during the process.
Yeah. In that case, yeah, it's probably fine. And I'm sure the construction of the boot is fine. There's nothing necessarily wrong with the boot. It's just the actual look. It's almost like, I don't even know the correlation to make, but it just, in my opinion, it's like tacky. It's not, there's nothing wrong with the skin itself, but it's like, you might as well just have regular skin at that point, like a regular calf skin or cowhide or. So but I understand why people would do that because they want that look, but they don't necessarily want the headache of having a Python. Yeah, they are a little bit more delicate. Yeah, I would say.
So, and I completely agree with what you're saying. Like, because I've been looking at like a natural Python color boot for the longest time. Yeah. Like Yeehaw makes a decent looking one with the black sole and the white and black upper color. They look really good. I kind of like it. I mean, it's just a badass looking boot, right?
Oh yeah, Python it really says something. It's not
Right.
something you just wear everywhere. They really stand out.
Yeah, so it's got to be kind of like a specialty boot,
Yeah.
especially in my lineup because like I said, I don't care for my boots. Like I don't take care of my boots the way.
And that's probably one of the most important ones that you have to take care of is Python and Lizard. They're gonna mess up the easiest. I mean, I'm not gonna say easy like easily, but you definitely have to take care of them or they will start cracking or splitting or something like that.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So there's a boot brand. The second reason I asked is because there's a brand called Santa Rosa brand.
I think I've heard.
Yeah. So there's
I'm not familiar.
Okay. Well, I'm mostly active on Instagram, and so you get endless amounts of brands popping up all across there. So this Santa Rosa brand, they make like Chukka style boots, like the Clark's Desert shoe, kind of like they make boots like that. They have another pair of like lace up style boots, and so they have a few different kinds, and they also make a side zip similar to like the Roy and the Dean, similar to that.
I'm looking them up right now.
Okay. And they have like a Python print. And so, but they did a few releases, like collaborative releases with a clothing store brand called Snake Oil Provisions. And so
I'm not familiar with that either.
Okay. So Snake Oil Provisions, they're like in LA. They do a lot of like denims and heritage boots and stuff like that. But they also carry Lucas's. They also carry they do like the Red Wing Pecos. They've done a few. Yeah. They've carried a few. Oh, Viberg. They carry some Vibergs. And what they had was and so they did a collaborative release with them, and they're called the Heartbreakers. And they're a snake print, and I mean they were all the rage, and they sold out in like it's a big thing every time, like once a year they do a collaborative release with them, and so obviously they market it and they sell out like that. So I
gotta see these. I don't see them on their website. I just see their regular lineup. But
okay.
I mean that sounds really interesting, and I wasn't trying to knock them necessarily. I just
no. We all have opinions, and there's nothing wrong with it. Just it's like same as toe bugs. How do you feel about prints? How do you feel about toe bugs? You either like it or you don't.
Yeah, I just don't like prints. That's all. Oh, okay. I see him. Yeah, Snake Oil Provisions, Heartbreaker. Okay, yeah, that's cool.
They don't look too bad.
So it's a print, you say?
Yes. They look fairly decent though, don't they, from the pictures?
Yeah, they look pretty cool. Yeah, I'll have to check these out later. I've never heard of this. Yeah, it says snake skin is rather hard to find and inconsistent. So they offer, the printed skin.
Huh. Yeah, it's all a marketing perspective, really,
Yeah.
Like I could say about my belts, like I don't like to stitch my belts together. I like one solid piece of leather, no glue, no stitching, and Chicago screws. But then you go to Hank's belts, and they're like, our 100-year belts. They're double layered, stitched all the way down. And that's why they come with the 100-year guarantee. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue.
Yeah, but these don't even really look like print. It's like it's a really good print.
Yeah, like
sometimes where it looks like a super cheap leather, like because it's just like
like you can see the pixels in the graphics.
Yeah. It looks like it's been spray painted or something on there.
Yeah.
But no, this actually looks like embossed. Like you can actually see the definition and the scales and all that.
Yeah,
That's
like an
cool.
embossing is what they do.
Yeah,
because I've never seen print in person, so I wouldn't know the difference. I was assuming that all prints had the embossing also as part of it. So
No, not necessarily.
okay.
Sometimes it's just like a calf skin.
Yeah.
It might have a little bit of texture from that calf skin, but it's like almost like it's spray painted. It looks like a paint job
Like
of whatever skin it's trying to mimic.
Yeah.
And it's like
okay.
it's like noticeably print.
Yeah, it's almost like
these,
hydro dipped or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like on these, it's like there's actual definition with the scales and all that. So these would probably be okay. They'd be accepted.
And it's funny because they actually have a toe bug on them, and I think it's like a skull and crossbones. I'm not sure.
It looks like it's got some gold lips on the back heel.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look these up now.
I don't know. Like on the back heel, like on the right boot, it looks like the outline of lips. Like it looks like kissed in like gold paint.
I wouldn't put it past them because like the boot name is called Heartbreaker. So
yeah. They even have their own soles, like it says Santa Rosa. Like the actual soles, you know how people do their own branding on the soles. Like Brian the bootmaker has his Roll Club soles, and Northern Republic has theirs.
Yeah, I like that Northern Republic design is pretty sweet looking.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I was like, because Will at Chizo's, he's been really keen to like. He said he even has a set of those Soul Savers on one of his boots. I think he says for his riding pair, his pair that he rides his motorcycle with, he has a pair of Soul Savers on those. And I was like, man, you should, because he even mentioned to me the one day, he's like, hey, you should really consider getting a pair of Soul Savers on. And I'm like, well, you should really consider getting a Chizo's branded Soul Saver.
Yeah,
that would be dope.
He did mention to us, which I'm probably not allowed to say this, that he was kind of working on something like that. That's all I'm going to say. So
cool, man.
Not necessarily Soul Savers, but a soul that was kind of his own brand and all that. So
very cool.
We'll see what comes of that.
Yeah. I got to say, Nick, being a Texan, it was pretty cool seeing like the different brands coming together and doing what they could to help some people out in their communities.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And it wasn't just companies, but there was, in the communities, there was tons of people going around and helping people, even if it was just inviting them to come stay with them while they were out of power. And there's still a lot of people that don't have water. And so people are, driving around with bottled water, handing it out and everything. And, there was a lot of restaurants providing food for people and things like that. So, yeah, it was really cool, really heartwarming.
Yeah, definitely. And, sure, it's probably good for your brand to market as a, humanitarian brand, but it's just a good example to set, as a business owner to be doing things like that for your community, rather than just saying, Texas strong, they're actually doing something. That was pretty badass.
Yeah, that's really cool. I was happy to see that too. So yeah,
just reading the comments here.
What's going on in there?
Wants them? Yeah, kiss my heels.
Yeah, Dotson says Tacovas is allocating proceeds to folks in need as well. I saw that, and that's really cool.
Yeah, the $50 for the ranch boots.
Yeah,
that's.
And I know Will from Chisos was driving around, pulling people out of ditches and doing all kinds of stuff, offering people to come stay at the Chisos headquarters if they didn't have power.
Yeah, I saw that. That's cool.
Good to be connected to other folks like that. I think it's a good feeling to know that those are the people I associate with.
Yeah.
I guess it's true, man. People in Texas aren't that bad. I'm just playing.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to end it there, but the replay will be up later tonight or tomorrow if you want to check it out. And again, Snellville's Facebook page is in the description down below if you want to check them out. Zane and his dad do fantastic work. You can find lots of pictures of resoles and all kinds of other work they do, and it's pretty impressive.
Definitely. We appreciate it.
Yeah. But Zane, thanks for coming on with us.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Thanks
Yeah,
for having. Thanks for
keep up
having
the
me.
good work. Keep
You
up
too.
really fantastic work, and everyone out in Texas, take care of yourselves, and be a good example if you can.
Yep,
I think that's the Texas way, no?
that's right.
Yeah.
And that's going to do it. We will see you guys next Tuesday for another edition of Live with the Toe Bugs. Y'all take it
Okay.
easy.
You guys,
Thank
have a good
you.
night.
See you guys.
All right, cool. Zane, that was awesome, man.